Hello. What if I told you that you could cut your grading time by a staggering 40%? For educators or anyone who regularly provide feedback, the sheer volume of marking can be so crushing. It eats into your evenings, your weekends, and your sanity. Think about it. Identifying recurring errors, crafting constructive feedback for every single student, maintaining consistent standards across dozens, even hundreds of assignments, it's mentally exhausting. And let's be honest, sometimes quality suffers when you are just trying to get through the part. But what if there was a smarter way? In this video, we'll show you practical strategy to leverage Claude for faster, more efficient, and effective feedback while you remain in charge. Let's see how. Here, I'm using Claude because unlike some other AIs, Claude excels at understanding context, following complex instructions, and generating nuanced human-like text. This makes it an absolute powerhouse for tasks like summarizing, identifying key themes, checking against rubrics, and even suggesting improvements, all of which are critical components of effective marking. Please note that I'm using the paid Pro plan for Claude, and the appearance, the workflow may appear a bit different if using the free version. But never mind, it can adequately perform the task. So I'm going to start by, the secret sauce to cutting marking time isn't just using Claude, it's how you use it. So I will start by pasting the prompts that I'll be using in this workflow. So this says that act as a supportive academic mentor using the attached rubric, generate a table-based bank of feedback phrases categorized by criterion and performance level. For every performance level within each criterion, provide a concise response that includes one, strengths, a first person observation of what was achieved, two, targeted improvement, a constructive next step, and the tone style will says maintain a conversational and encouraging tone that remains academic and professional. Use first person phrasing to ensure the feedback feels personal. Include Bloom's taxonomy verbs like analyze, evaluate, or synthesize to keep the conversational tone grounded in academic standards. Format presents as a table for easy copying and pasting into an LMS. Rows should be the rubric criteria and columns the performance level. So you can see that this is a good enough prompt because you need to tell Claude one, what the role is, two, what the task is, three, what kind of feedback you want, and four, the format that you prefer. So be specific, be clear, and don't forget we now need to include the assignment brief or the rubric because, of course, it is the rubric that will better guide the assignment brief. So in this case, I have an example. Um, I have an example assignment that can perform the task. So I'm going to attach the rubric now. Okay. So I have attached the rubric. Now I am going to press the send button. So let's wait and see what we get. So don't forget that this task, the purpose is not about AI replacing you. Okay, AI is simply augmenting the process. So you find by the time you look through the grading rubric that it suggests and including the comments, you realize that it sometimes catches things you might miss or even articulates some points in a fresh way. So use it as a powerful draft. It's still working. You can see it's now generating the table. So the real power comes in, of course, refining clause outputs. You want to make sure that you read through, add your personal touch, and of course, insert specific example from that student's work. that Claude might have missed, and ensure it aligns perfectly with your teaching style and module context. So as we are waiting, okay, so you can see that it has now provided, okay, so you can see that it's provided, if you look at this example, it says, you can see if I found your analysis superficial and largely descriptive. This, I would guess, is one of the lower level um, criteria. So you can see, yes, it's under the fail criteria. So you can see, yeah, and you can see I encourage you to engage critically with your data, identify patterns, or so you can see that those comments include both strengths, or your efforts towards meeting the criteria, and of course suggestions on how to improve. Let us look at another example, which is a bit better. Okay, let's look at critical reflection and discussion. So if you look at this one here, says I was impressed by your critical balance and discussion. Yep, you can see I encourage you to extend this by synthesizing across multiple theoretical perspectives and articulating implications for both theory and practice more forcefully. So you can see that it's actually done the job. At least it gives you something to start with. But don't forget that you can't just stop there. Okay, the next step is for you to refine and personalize. You refine by, of course, asking further questions to the AI. So you may want to ask questions like, um, want to go deeper, because this, as you go deeper, as you ask more questions, as you ask the AI to clarify aspects of the feedback that it has provided, that is it gives you more accuracy and a personal touch. So you can say, as you are providing or are reviewing your work, you can say something like, can you rephrase you can say, can you rephrase the poor performance level? Can you rephrase the poor performance level under the third criteria for a struggling student? Okay, so we can say something like this, and let's see what the AI does. Okay, so it's trying to, you know, so you can see that in the new version acknowledges effort. Okay, I noticed that the initial version did not acknowledge the effort that students have made enough. So you see that I can see you are working to explain. All right, the language is now softer. It now provides concrete, accessible guidance. So this is another way that you can. So please make sure that you don't stop at the initial draft that the AI provided. Ensure that you go ahead to personalize what the initial draft that AI has given you, and this is where you give or ensure that the output that you finally get is appropriate to your context. And don't forget, include a short transparency note explaining that Claude drafted feedback, that you reviewed and approved all the marks. This is very, very important for transparency purposes. So finally, you might want to, if you wish, you might want to save this output, maybe as a Microsoft Word document or as an Excel sheet file, because now I'm seeing that some academics have developed a practice of keeping assignment feedbacks in a secure file for future reference. So you go ahead, feel free, but preferably you might want to, ask Claude to present it. So let's say present the rubric in a CSV file to be exported to Excel. So it's going to go there for you as well. You can export the document to CSV file for you to be able to open it in this, in Excel. So please always make sure that mitigate risks. Always make sure that you mitigate it by always requiring human sign off on final grades and use institutional approved tools and being transparent with students. You can't emphasize this enough. So as we wait for Claude to do that, it's almost there. Okay. Yeah. So you can go ahead and, of course, all you need to do, look, is provide a very clear and well structured feedback in a table format. So all you need to do is just click on open in Excel, and then you use it so that it is easier. You can even go there to edit it based on what your preference is, so that it can be pasted into the LMS platform that you are using. And that's it. With a clear rubric and consistent prompt, Claude draft your routine work and you just focus on the judgment. If you are already seeing the massive potential here to reclaim your evenings and weekends, hit that like button and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what's your biggest grading challenge right now? Don't forget, start small, validate often, keep yourself in control. Download my free prompting template for marking in description to get started immediately. Try it out, refine your prompts to suit your context. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.